You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Excited you could join me today on part one of our weekend house calls, answering our community's questions each and every weekend on all things wellness, weight loss, anti-aging, mindset, motivation, career, you name it. We try to cover them on the weekend. It's my pleasure to be able to try to give back a little bit, try to get people started, as I say, always taking that first step, right? Moving forward. Maybe it's trying to discuss some issues that they've had before that they may not have gotten the answers from their health practitioner, or things that they've been researching on their own. It might be what lab to choose. Any of those things I'm happy to help with. And I'm excited because, really we're going on 2 years of answering Cabral House Calls on each and every weekend. Over that time, we've been able to answer at least 1,300 to 1,400 questions. So pretty exciting. Always happy to try to do that and give back in any way that I can. Just a reminder that these are now answered a couple months after you do submit them at stephencabral.com/ask Cabral. However, and I just want to reiterate, because I'll reiterate it every weekend, is that you can get pretty much same day answers at cabralsupportgroup.com. That is our free Facebook group. And we have some amazing health coaches on my team in there. And they literally answer your questions each and every day. And again, if they don't know the answer, if it's never come up before, what they do is they screenshot it, send it over to me, I answer it, and they post it. So it's that easy. I'm able to do that really, really quickly. And of course, they know a lot of the questions themselves. I mean, that's the whole point, right? We're teaching health coaches, and I've certified the health coaches on my team. They really know what they're talking about. They're amazing. And that's the way that we can get your questions answered faster. So if, again, you need a question of which lab should I run, or something that's come up, and you don't want to wait the 8 weeks or so that it's taking me now to get to the questions. Again, it's only taking me that long because we get hundreds of questions submitted. And so they just build up, and I just answer them in the order that they come in. So hopefully that helps. Again, we're always happy to answer your question. And again, if it's customer service, always the best place for customer service in terms of ordering anything. Just email support@drcabraldetox.com or support@equilibriumnutrition.com. All right, hopefully that helps. Now, let's move over to our first question. Our first question is coming in today from Judy. She's writing in, hello, do you have any suggestions on how to prevent motion sickness when flying, driving, or on a boat? I often get it when flying on a plane and have to take Dramamine and want to get away from taking conventional medicine. Periodically, it happens on a car ride, which I can prevent by not reading in the car and sitting in the front seat. Yes, absolutely. So I have a lot of experience in this. My wife actually, she gets a lot of motion sickness as well. One thing that's helped tremendously, and one thing that I've shared before, is ginger tea as well as ginger chews. I've recommended these multiple times before on the Cabral Concept, so you can literally type in ginger tea. You'll find the organic ginger tea that I recommend by Traditional Medicinals, great company, and the ginger chews that I recommend as well, the unsweetened ones, just the regular spicy ginger. Why? Well, ginger is like the anti-vata, right? And so when you get dizzy, when you get lightheadedness, you're experiencing in Ayurvedic medicine what's called vata, which means air and ether and lightness. So what you want to do is not right before, but an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half before you go on one of these trips, is to eat something heavy, not light. So meaning that you want to feel weighty, you don't want to feel weighed down, you want to feel more kapha-like. So what you want to do is have a nice bowl of oatmeal or something, again, heavy. You don't want to be having like rice crackers, right? Or rice cakes, any of those things which would increase vata. You want to be able to have something that's heavy, a little bit of spice to it, a little bit of that ginger-based spice quality like I just spoke about, and that will help tremendously. That's where I would start. And like you just said, know your triggers. So sitting in the back seat of a car when you know you get motion sickness is terrible. So you want to sit in the front seat. You want to be able to try to stare off. One thing that's going to help a lot is stare at one point in the distance. So by staring at one point, it helps you create equilibrium with the body. It helps to stabilize the body. And so again, preventing you from looking side to side, which again, only increases vata, okay, that nausea. So Judy, that's the first place to start. Happy to help if that is not enough, okay? Again, you can just write into cabralsupportgroup.com and we'll answer right there if you have additional questions. All right, Jenett's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. My daughter has a red dotted rash around her mouth and below her nose. It's appeared around the time she and my son were sick with strep and had taken antibiotics. I had to take her off of them because she got an allergic reaction from the amoxicillian, which made her entire body break out in a small dotted rash, so I assumed it was part of that, but it's been weeks around her mouth and it's still there. When I look online, it looks like Candida. Could this be? If so, are there only home remedies to get rid of this? Is there a way to rebuild their gut after the antibiotics? Thank you so much, Jenett. Jenett, you asked this on February 19th, and I know it's in late May now. Hopefully, you've listened to previous podcasts, because on previous podcasts, I answer all of this. And so all of our longtime listeners could be shouting right now through the headphones that, here's what to do. So yes, why is this so apparent with taking antibiotics? Well, when you take an antibiotic, it means basically, think of it as like anti-life or antibacterial. So it's killing the bad bacteria in your gut. It's killing the good bacteria in your gut. It's killing everything in your gut. What the key piece that people miss here, and again, this is conventional medicine that's missing, is that it does not kill the yeast. It does not kill the Candida. So what happens is, and this is again in the literature, you're supposed to give something like a Saccharomyces boulardii or our clean gut probiotic when taking antibiotics so the yeast doesn't overgrow. However, no one does that. So yes, it can be Candida overgrowth. What I would do is, one, you could do the organic acids test to confirm, or you can simply use the Candida and bacterial overgrowth for adults or for children. And again, I don't know how old your daughter is, so she might just need the children's Candida and bacterial overgrowth, but that would be a great way. I just want to give you a couple of other thoughts. It could be a Herxheimer-based reaction, which means that as the body is killing off all this bacteria, it overwhelms the blood essentially with bacteria and overwhelms your liver. Your liver is not able to eliminate and process it as quickly. So vitamin C can help tremendously with that as well. Pretty safe, pretty easy for kids. But I would run the organic acids test, and then if needed, I would do the Candida and bacterial overgrowth. I do hope that that helps. Camilla is up next. Dear Stephen, I was crying through the entire 745 podcast. Happy tears because you just explained my dream. And with such ease, I would love to come to your clinic, but I live in Denmark. I listened to you on the Melissa Ambrosini show, and I just knew right away that I want you to help me get back on track. So my question is, what would you recommend for me? Like, where do I start? Do I run tests? Do I detox first? How do I find out what my body type is so I can start eating accordingly? I really hope that you can help me. I'm kind of desperate. Thank you. Thank you so much. And please let me know what I need to do, what info you need, what I need to send. I will do anything. All my best, Camilla. All right. Camilla, thank you for writing in. I wish I wasn't answering this 2 months later, but again, they all come in the order that they come in. So what I want to do first is just let everybody know the episode 745 that she's speaking about is a Mindset and Motivation Monday. And it's about using these rhythms and routines in your life. I just found that a pretty powerful episode myself. And it's a show that talks about addition by subtraction in life. And so hopefully people will go back and tune into that. But one thing, Camilla, as well, is that all of these things have been spoken about on previous Cabral concepts. So again, you might have just been a first-time listener, and around 745, it looks like that you were. So if you go back, I explain exactly the whole thing of like what to do, what your options are. Essentially, the first step is you could read the book, The Rain Barrel Effect, and it goes deeper into how I practice natural health, how I practice functional medicine, naturopathic medicine, bioregulatory medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, all of those different types of medicine. All right, so that's how I practice medicine and how you can essentially help yourself. The second step is that you could do something like the Dr. Cabral Detox, which not only helps people like literally get their body back on track, but it teaches you a healthier way of eating. It teaches you how to start to detoxify the body. I mean, it's tremendous. The next step after that is either based on your symptoms, using one of the nutritional supplements or protocols, or just the maintenance program for the Dr. Cabral Detox, something like the Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol, and see how you feel. Or you can then run a lab. And the lab could be based on your symptoms. For example, if you have digestive issues, you might run the organic acids test, a food sensitivities test, and a stool-based test. If you have skin rash issues, you might run the same ones, right? A food sensitivity test. If you have low energy, if you have weight gain, you might run the thyroid hormone adrenal. If you have, again, low energy, lower mood, you might run the hair tissue mineral analysis. If you have a lot of inflammation, again, you can run the omega-3 test. So we do explain all of those. I also have something called the Big Five, which is what I prefer to run, if possible, in my practice with every new person that comes in. And then there is that next level. The next level is actually working with myself or my team. So all of those are possible. Literally, sky's the limit. We want to help you in any way that you want. Everything from my book, The Rain Barrel Effect, through the lab testing, through essentially the do-it-yourself protocols, and then working with us in practice. So however we can help you, you let me know. That's it. All right. We'll link everything up today too as well at stevencabral.com/834. That will be everything that you can need right there. That will be the labs. It will be the application for the private practice, all of those things. All right. Next question is from Anita. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thanks for your Aussie support. I've waited patiently for this time. Your podcasts are truly brilliant. Thank you so much. So I have a question about my daughter. She's 23. Lived her first 21 years in Australia, and now she's moved to Oslo, Norway. Here are her symptoms. She has rectal bleeding for 2 years now. She didn't notice this. Her stool is very soft. No force is used. Minimize gluten and dairy consumption. However, she still does consume these. Recurring bouts of threadworm, even though she's very hygienic. Great difficulty falling asleep. Has always had difficulties sleeping. I'm just trying to read just the highlights. And again, everyone can read the full question at stevencabral.com/834. Outbreak of boils for almost 6 months. Lives in a basement apartment, which mold seems to grow. She does use a dehumidifier. She tries to keep her stress levels in check during her master's. Exercises 4 times a week, mostly resistance training. Takes magnesium. She takes fish oil, vitamin B. There are several issues going on. I don't know where to begin to help her. Okay. So we can certainly help your daughter with this. Let's just go through it step by step. All right. So if someone says rectal bleeding to me, I'm thinking some type of hemorrhoids. And I'm thinking hemorrhoids because of some type of inflammation. And I'm thinking inflammation because of too high of omega-6s to omega-3s, food sensitivity. Yeah, mostly one of those. Or again, yeast overgrowth, candida overgrowth, fungal overgrowth, rectal itching, rectal bleeding can also be candida overgrowth. My recommendation, food test, organic acids test, and a stool test. That's what I would do. And that's because we'd want to find out if there are parasites, if there's yeast overgrowth, if there's Clostridium difficile, if there's H. pylori, and then what food sensitivity she has. So eat the foods for a couple days before the lab test, take the lab test, mail it back to us, and she will get her answers. That's exactly what I would do. At the same time, I'd be working on her, obviously her stress. We would have to help her with her sleep. We do have a sleep protocol. Basically, right now we don't ship yet to Norway. In the future, we'll ship to Europe. But what I would do is I would just get them yourself, and then you can just ship them to her yourself. So that's exactly how to do it. And yeah, we'd be happy to help. That's literally the way, because she obviously has a sympathetic nervous system stress-based issue because she can't sleep. We can work on that either with the sleep-based protocol or actually figuring that out through a sleep and stress-based lab. And then I would certainly take care of the rectal bleeding as well as the boils, which is a clear toxicity-based issue. So hopefully that helps. And again, if she doesn't want to run any labs, then I would do the 21-day Dr. Cabral detox with the maintenance protocol of the Dr. Cabral daily protocol. All right. Donna is up next. Donna is asking, Dear Dr. Cabral, on a recent podcast, you mentioned that it wasn't good to eat produce from Mexico. What if it's from Mexico, but is USDA certified organic, or some produce that just has a little green organic sticker on it? Is it trustworthy? It seems as though most of our produce at our local fresh time store is from Mexico. On Amazon and in stores, I can only find organic cold-pressed, unrefined sesame oil from Mexico. What do you use and where does it come from? Does avocado oil need to be organic as well? Because I have not found any. Also, is it important that all nuts we eat are organic too, or must they say USDA organic? You recommend wild blueberries, but our Costco carries frozen ones that do not say organic. What brand do you use? What kind of cleaner is safe for kitchen sinks, showers, tubs? What about shampoos, laundry detergents, dryer sheets? Are there specific ingredients to stay away from, such as sodium? All right, I get it. And yeah, these are all amazing questions. And the question is coming in from Donna. All right, Donna. And you wrote this on 219. We had a lot of questions from 219. All of this is stated in my new book, The Rain Barrel Effect. And again, I'm going to promote this book quite a bit into the future for at least the next year or two. And the reason is that literally all profit is donated to charity with every sale of The Rain Barrel Effect. And it's under $20. And all of these things are stated in there. It gives you my best laundry detergents, my best toothpaste, my best, you name it. You name it, it's in this book. And that's because one of the top 10 toxins I talk about are all of these things such as detergents, and that's where the chemicals come from. So I can't name every single one today, but literally if you go to stephencabral.com/podcast, remember, you can always get your answers there for the most part. So if you go to stephencabral.com/podcast and type in toothpaste, you'll get my toothpaste recommendation. If you type in sunscreen, you'll get my sunscreen recommendation. So you'll always get my healthy recommendations there. If you want to know what foods to eat that are conventional based, that may come from Mexico and that are not organic, then go to stephencabral.com/podcast. And in the search bar, type in Dirty Dozen, and you'll find out the 12 foods that you should always eat organic because you can't get rid of those pesticides. Okay. Now, first of all, I did not say not to eat produce from Mexico. I did not say that. I said we have to be careful with foods coming from Mexico, especially conventional-based ones, meaning that they're not organic, because they're allowed to use certain pesticides in Mexico that actually we manufacture in the United States, but we ship to Mexico because we can't use them in the United States. That's how crazy the United States laws are. But we pay Mexico to be able to use them there, and then they ship them back to the United States. It's completely insane. I mean, like, literally, people don't know that this is going on. And why would they? Like, this is not common knowledge. This is not in the media, but this is the truth. And this is why detoxification, this is why all of these things are so important. It's just because we can't escape it. So I did not say don't eat food from Mexico. I did not say that. But, and again, I'm just joking around. But yes, you want to make sure that it has that USDA organic sticker, and then you should actually be okay. So hopefully that helps Donna. And then the blueberries, I usually get wild blueberries, which is not going to be organic because they're wild, or I get organic blueberries from local places or whoever it might be. And sometimes I'll just buy regular organic blueberries and then I'll bag them and freeze them. That's it. So there are many different ways to do it, and that's very, very easy to do that. All right. Chantel's up next. Chantel's asking, or she's saying, you're a fabulous human, Dr. Cabral. Thank you, Chantel. I appreciate that. That's really nice of you. Thank you for being so helpful to many of us to be our healthiest self. I don't like going to the dentist because they require you to undergo x-rays at each cleaning. Do these frequent x-rays, are these frequent x-rays safe? Okay, I agree with you. Totally agree with you. X-rays expose you to radiation. Now, however, I will say the radiation that's given off by dental-based x-rays and the newer versions, like that small, I'm not talking about, so if you see a giant square plate come up to your head, do an x-ray, run out of that room, because that is literally radiating your brain. That is a really bad idea. However, the newer x-rays are a little tube, and they put the tube then against your face, and they put usually a lead mat around the rest of your face. If you go to a biological dentist, like I do, and again, I've spoken about this before, I believe it's IOAMG. I'm probably off on that. I don't know if there's a G there. Let me type that right in now. IOAM dentist. And let's see if I can find the actual name for that. Yes, it's IAOMT. Okay. So this is the International Academy of Oral Medicine and Toxicology. Essentially, you're looking for a biological dentist. Again, this is talked about in my book as well. Those are the best of the best. So should you have x-rays done every once in a while of your mouth? Yes, most likely, to see if there's any abscess, bacteria, anything like that. Should you do it every 6 months to a year? I don't believe so. I don't. My dentist is a biological dentist, and they say to do it once a year. I still say, I understand where you're coming from. I brush my teeth. I try to floss as much as I can, which is not all the time. I just have to be honest. And I just say to them, my teeth are healthy. Do you have any reason to think that I have any inflammation of the gums, anything that would say, oh, there's some type of bacteria underneath my tooth? And I don't have any root canals, and I don't have anything like that, okay? And they say no. I said, okay, well, we're going to wait another year to do those x-rays, because ideally, I don't want any x-rays. So you can do that. You can also use thermography as well. So do I believe in x-rays of your mouth? I do. But just like I explained which ones to use, and I actually don't think that you need them yearly. I know that a lot of dentists will disagree with me. I understand that. Now, if you have dental-based work, like you've had root canals in the past, implants, all sorts of stuff where bacteria could easily grow under your tooth, then maybe once a year does make sense. So again, you have to weigh the pros and the cons. If you have real tooth issues like gingivitis, inflammation, deep plaque, like anything, then it might be a good idea. But if not, if you have a healthy mouth, doing a lot more of preventistry, which I've talked about before and made fun of a little bit, tongue-in-cheek, is not my idea of good health. Okay, Matt's up next. Hey, Dr. Ball, I heard about this new product called Nutrafol, which supposedly helps prevent hair loss. I looked at it, and it seems to have high-quality ingredients like ashwagandha, curcumin, kelp, biotin, selenium. Please let me know what you think to prevent hair loss and male pattern balding. All right, so I'm going to be talking about hair loss in the next upcoming weeks. So again, this was written on 2/19. We had a big surge of questions on February 19th. I don't know what I said on that, but obviously it got people thinking. So, here's the deal with hair loss-based products. It's never the supplement itself. And the reason is it's dietary-based, it's stress-based, and all of those things need to be worked on at the same time you might be taking really great quality supplements. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in the future. I'll be talking about things like castor oil, black seed oil, all sorts of great things. And so I want to answer this question, but I want to do it in depth. And right now, I don't believe is the best time to do that, nor do I believe there's a lot of great products out there right now. But I'm going to get into it, and I will literally give you the rundown of all the ingredients that I would look for in a product. But the one that you're naming right now does not look too shabby at all. And so I don't have an issue with it. However, there's a lot more that goes into this, and I don't want you to waste your money without doing everything that needs to go into it as well. So, Matt, it's a great question, and I'm not dodging the question. I just want to let you know that I'll be doing a whole and full episode on your question to really go in depth, and that will be about a 20-25 minute show, and it will give you everything that you need to build up that strong, healthy hair. Okay. Next up is Lance. Lance will be our last question today. I have heard of chew and spit. What does this do to the physiologic and or adrenal or hormonal response? Okay, Lance, so this question is an interesting one. It's never come up before on the Cabral HouseCalls, although we have spoken about eating disorders in the past. So chew and spit, a lot of people don't necessarily consider it an eating disorder, but it certainly is. And the reason is, for those who don't know what this is you're actually chewing a food that might be in higher calories, or you're basically chewing a food and you're spitting it out before swallowing it. So the goal is to be able to enjoy the food, enjoy the taste of the food, but not get the calories or the sugar or whatever it might be into the body. The problem is that this truly sets you up for the eating disorder, which it is, or graded eating disorders and body image issues in the future. I can't recommend this, and the reason is that it also does affect your body. So I believe this is, again, you can look this up yourself, but I believe it's CHSP is the abbreviation for chew and spit, essentially disorder. And it goes along with bulimia and it goes along with anorexia. It is slightly different because it does change the hormones in a different way. But here's another thing, is that they found that the people with a chew and spit, let's call it disorder or health-based issue, actually increased hunger hormones because the food that they were tasting in their mouth starts to increase digestive enzymes, increases hydrochloric acid in the stomach, and it does not allow for the hormone leptin to lower. The hormone ghrelin. So you get even more increased hunger, and that's actually been studied now, so that's been well studied. The other part is that it can create stomach ulcers because your body is increasing stomach acid, waiting for this food that you're chewing in your mouth, but it never sees it. Plus, insulin levels can increase for multiple reasons. So this is still studied. So this is a little bit more of gray area. Well, one is that if you're chewing something sweet, it can actually absorb some of the sugar right through your mouth, like right through the capillaries into the blood. Not a lot, but some. And the other is an increase in digestive enzymes, hydrochloric acid, and insulin is a normal response to eating. So, and you're technically eating but not getting any of the nutrients that would typically come along with that. So for all of those reasons, I certainly can't recommend this. I don't think it's a good idea. And I don't think it's a healthy relationship with food, but a great question, Lance. And I really do appreciate you asking that because it's never come up before. So thank you everyone for tuning in today on this Cabral House Call, part 1. I'll be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions. Really looking forward to that. Hope you're having an amazing weekend, and I'll talk with you soon. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stevencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.